All right.
Just handing that out. So on that, it's just, first off, disclaimer, you guys are all guinea pigs. Never done this before. And this is two-sided. The one side is the list of just, kind of talking points I'm going to go through. They're probably not in the best order, so, but, just to kind of, so to make sure I go over some of the key points. And then the back side, you'll see, it's, for you to write down, like, say, the top 10 events in your life that you hold closest to your heart. And then I put a memory jogger down there, stuff like, happy things like birthdays, maybe the day your son was sworn in the Army, or some, kid won a sports championship, or maybe some sad things like, when your dad died, or things like that, but just things that are close to your heart, and various things, And that's just something for you, and this is kind of the crux of, what I'm going to talk to you here about. So this year, as far as strictly, I call it my greatest discovery, and it just so happens to have a huge effect on my mortgage business. I mean, I get the best referrals, I don't even call them referrals, they're introductions really, of the people that are closest, best circles, And I know plenty of people that make a good living off of Zillow and things like this, but this isn't something you're going to be, swinging in the mud over 25 basis points during their business at all, Typically, and I'll tell you about an aha moment I had a few years back. A friend went to school with died. We had a celebration of life party, and there's a lot of people that everyone knew each other pretty much. And I come walking in with a friend, and people kind of came towards me, just, hey, Nick, hey, and things like that. And, there's 150, 200 people, and people in their little groups, and I noticed people would look, see me come in, and they'd say, hey, hold on a second, and then peel off and to stop what they're doing to talk to me, And after we left, my friend goes, oh, Nick, are you like the rock star amongst your friends or something like that? I go, well, I don't know why. And she goes, because of the group. Like, we walked in, and it was just like, wow. And I kind of noticed it. It was like, well, yeah. We have, I mean, I might have been the best looking guy. But I was kind of thinking about that. And then I was like, well, why is that? And then I thought, hey, these are the people who I've been kind of doing this thing with for the last few years. And it wasn't just like my best friends that I know, like people who are just, I think, just ordinary friends, or, the different circles of friendship, I guess. But anyhow, what it is that I do is, in this in particular, is the contact points I have with people. And it's not just past clients, it's not just agents, it's pretty much like, you'll take, the people who you think care about you the most in the world, Kind of like what they call the grocery store test, like if they see you, hey, Jim, or, whatever, that type of deal. And what it is I've been keeping track. It started with a birthday program. I'm sure some of you guys have birthday programs, cards, emails, whatever, things like that. And that's kind of where it started. And then, of course, when Facebook came out, then all of a sudden I wasn't, everyone's spamming everyone, It's like, oh, well, So I got slick, and I called and emailed the day before. The day before the onslaught, And making the call, and every year I would change the email, so they didn't think I was spamming the email, right? But I would call, and the thing is, when you call someone, what I found, and it's just their birthday, it's the day before, if they're not expecting your call, they're,
What do you want?
they're very tough. Well, there's a percentage of those, right?
Yeah.
But it's mostly me calling and just saying, hey, I just want to let you know tomorrow you're going to be an old fart, and I just wanted to, if you needed a shoulder to cry on, or depending on our relationship, right? And they would be so touched that I called them that I remembered them, you know? And it's just like, you know, if I'm going to call happy birthday the day before, you know, the Facebook onslaught. And, you know, some of them were so touched you would think like, I was literally like saving their kid from drowning or something. Like they're just like, Nick. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know. And you know when you're talking to someone and you can tell they're doing something else, like their voice kind of trails. It's kind of like, yeah, Nick, you know. So
There's a good example.
I kind of noticed how people would do that, but what they were doing that I noticed immediately after they were talking like that, they'd say, oh yes, my uncle needs to refi. You know, so after this kind of like sound in their voice, they felt so touched by just me calling that they felt like they owed me something, you know. And their brain, yeah, I'm Nick, their friend, but I'm also Nick, their friend in the loan business. And so I get leads like right away. And like I said, these are like people that are close to them, you know. This is some, you know, so it's not, you know, like I said, you know, a price-sensitive type of thing off of the internet or whatever. And I think what it is, I guess it kind of goes to, I guess, the law of importance or remembrance, like, you know, making people feel important, not necessarily like, you know, feel like you're the president of the United States, but that you're remembering them, you know, you're taking that time out. And you know, too much in life, you know, just like say this celebration of life thing I went to, you know, you lose touch with people and then all of a sudden, you know, you meet and hear about this, you know. So it just, I don't know, just making people feel remembered and important enough that you're gonna make this call. And a lot of them would say, oh, Nick, thank you so much for this call. And I go, well, I do feel that you're worth at least a 5-minute phone call every year, you know, and more. I should be calling you more. So I kind of plant that seed that I'm going to be calling them more. You know? But anyhow, what we're really doing in this business is we're basically doing awareness training. You're you know, making people aware of you and what you do. You know, you're their friend in the home loan. You're their friend, but their friend in the home loan business. And also make them aware of when they hear, you know, their loved ones, coworkers, etc., in a type of a conversation where they could use your help, you know. And, you know, the thing is, if you want people to remember, it's like give the behavior you want to get. It's the law of reciprocity. So if you lead with remembering people, because these are, after my team meeting, these are my first calls I do every day. So if I start off with just, hi, I'm remembering you today. Hi, I'm remembering you today. Hi, you know, whatever it is, their anniversaries, birthdays, and things like that, they want to return in kind, you know. And that's it, just remembering you. And again, you guys, like you say, you have not just a friend, but you're their friend in the loan business. And they want to do that. And, you know, like when people get spam, I mean, the definition of spam is things that just are not relevant to you. And this is just like the polar opposite of spam. I mean, completely opposite.
It's a great way to describe it.
And it's beyond relevant, you know, to them. And then, you know, you have like normal touch points like, okay, we have our Happy 4th of July autoresponder things, or guess what, it's your 1-year loan anniversary or whatever. And these things, you know, they could be relevant, but, you know, what's far more relevant is calling someone 1 year after their kid graduated from preschool and ask them what they're going to do for their graduate, for their life, you know.
Maybe tell us the example. You shared that with me.
Oh, well, so I have a friend of mine, she's an agent at Century 21 in Linwood, and it was her daughter graduated from preschool, and it was like on Facebook with her little preschool, oh, graduated, you know, got one tooth hanging out or whatever. And I remember it came up, and I was chit-chatting with her, and of course it's the day before, you know. He goes, so what, you gonna do anything special for the graduate tomorrow? And she's like, what are you talking about? I go, well, tomorrow's Maya's 1 year anniversary from graduating from preschool. And she's like, what? I go, yeah, I don't know, I remember, I know, but really I have it in my CRM. But it was entered via the heart. So,
That's right.
but really the key is to have a business that's big enough that you can't store it all in your brain. It's that thing, your brain's not meant for storage, it's for processing, but, so that way when it, every day I have my little agenda system and it tells me, what I have to do. And those are like I said, those are my first calls after the team meeting that I do. And the whole thing again, the thinking of you times 1,000. That's what this is. You're thinking of them. You're thinking of them. You're thinking of them. You're planting that seed. I'm thinking of you. I'm thinking of you. And then that in turn makes them think of you. And also, when to call and when to email and why. I kind of went into that a little bit, like with that whole Facebook thing. Everyone knows your birthday, on Facebook and things. So, I want to be the first person, and the call and the email. I do a call and the email the day before. One thing too is why I do this after my team meeting, as far as how it frames your day. As you guys know, not every call you make is a good call. It's like, that appraisal came in low. They sent your docs to, Chicago, whatever, So the whole thing is this, all these calls they're happy calls. It's like if you were like a florist delivery person. Everyone's like, oh, hey, flower, It's literally like that. They're fun calls, they're no pressure calls, happy calls, and everything, and it really frames your day to get you in the right place mentally and emotionally to make those tough calls. And then you're like picking up the call, yeah, the appraiser came in 100 grams shy. You're like, oh, you gotta sound a little sad, I guess. So here's the thing: is the Facebook pros and cons. With everyone knowing their birthday, I guess that's a con. But also the amount of data that you have from your friends. I don't know if you guys know, it's called Facebook Graph Search, but you can search on Facebook for certain words, and it'll segment it, amongst your friends or general or things like that. So you could do like anniversary or graduation. Or you could do high emotional words like, like maybe devastated, like if it's a sad thing, but close to their heart, or, so proud, just different words that are tied into, I guess, those type of heartfelt events in their life.
Does that search like their posts, like words that your
same.
friends list have posted?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is it hashtags
and Facebook.
Or just
What's
You
that?
can-
Is it
you can do
hashtags or
both.
just words?
No, you just type it in,
Right.
You're doing a search thing. But Facebook messes with that from time to time. Because I used to, back when, Chris, we used to do house hunting and then a city name. And then, like, say people you didn't even know would post, like, we're house hunting in
Yeah.
Puyallup and things like that. And they posted it like 3 hours ago. And this is before you had to pay $1 to
Yeah.
thing. And I had this little thing like, hey, I was working on my Facebook page and I just happened, I don't know, it's that thing is on the side and I'm in the loan, I didn't know if you made them. So those are, and I got a bunch of business that way, but, and very few FUs, not many, But those are people, they don't know who you are or this and that. And also now they charge you $1 to do that email, but it's a good dollar spent if you are. But those are, like I said, this is the low-hanging fruit that I'm really talking about here. But if it's not Facebook graph search, just if you allot your Facebook time, just do the scroll. Do the scroll, and then people will talk about this stuff. And when they talk about that, you put that in your contact manager, CRM, or whatever it is. And then every day, you're going to have new contact dates, things that you can do the following year. Every single day, you're gonna add this to that. And, so you don't have to be like tricky with the search or anything like that. You just scroll through your friends list and things like that. One thing too is when you call them, or whenever I call them, there's the acronym I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with, FORD, which is Family, Occupation, Recreation, Dreams, or Desires. So just so I don't go to Mr. Interest Rate Note or something like that, I have that in my little contact manager to keep me like, so those are my question points. Like, how's the family? Or, oh, you're still at Boeing. Or recreation, oh, you're still playing softball. Or any dreams or vacations or whatever it is. So it kind of keeps you're asking about them. You're being outwardly focused towards them. One thing too is, training yourself to be an active listener when they're talking. And you can also use this to formulate your questions later. But when people talk about life events, very few people go, yeah, I need, help on my home loan. They're going to talk about things like divorces or pregnancies or, deaths or promotions or whatever it is, those life events that are high likelihood where they might need us. But that's just a kind of a ongoing thing, training yourself. And there's going to be just different life moments and keywords and things of that nature. Now, one thing here is on number 15, I call it jumping circles. And I think they call it the concentric circles of friendship, I think. But you'll have like your tightest friends, the friend you can tell the most embarrassing crap to, and they're not going to rat you out to everyone, And then you have like, outside of that circle, you have your really good friends. And then outside of that, you have, friends, and then you have associates and things like this. What this is, it's kind of like, it draws people to you in ways, just like when I went to the Celebration of Life thing. And in a customer and client way, you will have people become more advocates, It's like you have a friend who wants to be your good friend. You have good friends who want to be great friends. So you're drawing people closer to you in a personal way and a professional way, And, and this is, like I said, this is a little jumbly, the part about you guys being a guinea pig. This is kind of, it's kind of mixed up a little bit here. A lot of times, too, when people refer someone to you, they say, oh, I know you'll take good care of them. So you have the surface care meanings, which vary from people to people, and then you have the deep core of what care. Like some people like, oh, I know you'll take good care of them. That means like, oh, you're going to not charge them a lot of points or things like that. Or you're going to take good care of them, meaning, you're going to return their calls and have their best interests at heart or whatever. But really the core care meaning is you are going to treat them with care, And because these, the people that you're calling, you're already doing that by this communications. So you're not in doubt as far as what, how you will treat them, as far as how you will care for them. Another thing is how they frame you and how they do the introduction for you. It's humbling,